It's your main man Rebelzo here, man. We back at y'all, man. This is in What the Fuck News. What the hell is going on news? Officer shot his sergeant. I thought he was going to grate me. So all right, so I just gotta hear what I just saw it, and I was like, we finna do this reaction. I gotta hear what this story is about. It's gonna be live. Let's go.
We're learning about the moments just before a James City.
Make sure I turn the volume up for you guys. I hate listening to videos and then the volume is low. My apologies. Here we go.
A county police officer shot his sergeant outside a Williamsburg bar.
Michael Rusk is facing charges in connection to that.
So let's hear that one more time.
Sergeant outside a Williamsburg bar.
Michael Rusk is facing charges in connection to that January shooting, which seriously hurt Sergeant Christopher Gibson. Investigators initially said the two officers got into a fight after a night of drinking. But as 10 Exercise Julie Millay learned, the shooting might have been about much more than a bar fight.
Yeah.
Julie?
Oh, shit. Don't tell me the sergeant tried to make a pass and my boy wasn't with it. Let's go.
And Amy, investigators simply said the two officers involved in the shooting were known to each other. Now we're learning what that might really mean. The alleged shooter, Michael Rusk, says he pulled the trigger in self-defense because of unwanted advances by his sergeant. We're about to share exclusive surveillance video and the 911 call from the shooting, which we played for Michael Rusk's family for the first time. Would you like to hear it?
I'd love to hear it.
For the first time, Jason Rusk is hearing the 911 call his son made in the early morning hours of January 25th.
That's a real dad right there. He said, I'd love to hear it, God dog. Let's go. We'll run it back.
Hours of January 25th.
I shot Sergeant Gibson. Do what? I shot.
Bro, why you crying though?
Sergeant Gibson.
You sound like this. He don't sound too. I guess he's emotional because he shot somebody and you don't really mean to shoot somebody, but somebody that's making an advance. You probably think he's drunk, but I don't know. He don't sound too masculine. But let's go.
Shot Sergeant Gibson. I pulled a gun on him because he advancing on me. Is he breathing? He just fell out.
James City County police officer Michael Rusk called 911.
I wonder how old he is. But let's go.
After he allegedly shot his superior officer, Sergeant Christopher Gibson, outside a Williamsburg bar, where the two had been drinking together. Video given exclusively to 10 on Your Side shows the two officers before this happened.
I grabbed his right arm. Okay, I need you to take a deep breath for me, okay?
I mean, you ain't shoot him in the spot where you can kill him.
Is he breathing?
I don't mean to laugh at somebody being shot and almost losing their life, but come on, bro.
Is he breathing? I'm trying to save his life.
The 911 call goes on for just over 5 minutes. That's when responding officers show up to find Gibson had been shot 3 times, seriously hurt in his stomach and shoulder. Court documents show Gibson told officers Rusk shot him after a verbal argument. But Rusk, his dad, and his lawyers say it was much more than that.
It started to get creepy.
Jason Rusk says his son told him about unwanted attention he got from his superior officer leading up to the shooting, and that he had reported it to others on the force.
There was a year's worth of grooming that had taken place.
Rusk says his son is the victim of unwanted sexual advances and had been for a long time.
Extremely inappropriate touching, stalking, the grooming.
Look, man, he's probably young. He's probably in his dream job. Because people who I tend to find people who get into law enforcement, they actually wanted to. They actually had a plan and a pathway that they wanted to be in law enforcement. And when you're in law enforcement, if you're in it for a long time, you want to make a career of it. There's good advancement, good pay, and stuff like that. And so he probably didn't want to say nothing because he didn't want to rock the boat. But at the same time, he needed the job. He liked the job. And if he said he was telling people, and y'all, come on, bro.
The previous to the incident assaults.
We reached out to Gibson several times.
But why did you go drinking with him? if it's been a year of all this grooming and all this stuff like that, if he asks you to go out or whatever or drink with him, you don't go. If somebody's acting weird, you don't do no shit like that. You don't go drinking with them, especially drinking with them.
Times to ask him about these allegations. He declined to speak with us. We also requested from JCCPD a record of any complaints filed against Gibson during his time there. We were denied. The video shows the officers at the bar prior to the shooting. You can see them sitting across from each other at the start. Then you'll see Gibson move in to sit next to Rusk. Gibson reaches for Rusk's hand under the table, which seems to be met with hesitation from the younger officer. Then, just about an hour before the shooting, the two are seen leaving together. After Gibson puts his hand on Rusk's shoulder, you see Rusk forcefully push him off and put a finger in his face before walking away. We don't know what happened next, but after the shooting, Rusk makes this claim to the 911 dispatcher.
I told him this zombie kept going. I thought he was gonna rape me. Help me. Help.
If our client was a female, this
911 dispatcher.
I told him this zombie.
From the younger officer, Rusk. Gibson reaches for Rusk's hand under the table, which seems to be met with hesitation from the younger officer. Then, just about an hour before the shooting, the two are seen leaving together. After Gibson puts his hand on Rusk's shoulder, you see Rusk forcefully push him off and put a finger in his face before walking away. We don't know what happened next, but after the shooting, Rusk makes this claim to the 911 dispatcher.
I told him this zombie.
It's gonna hurt his case. What's gonna hurt his case if he said that he's had like a whole year of complaints, and if it shows that he had a whole bunch of complaints, but he still went drinking with him, and just like his attorney's gonna say, if he was a woman, of course, you know what I'm saying. But come on, guys, dudes, we normally pick up on stuff like that and not try to stop shit before it becomes a problem. At least I'm like that. If I see something that's, I'm gonna stop before it even becomes a problem. Don't play like that. None of that shit. Let's go. Bruh, I don't know, but he sound like a straight up. I hate to say it, bruh, but come on, man, where your nuts at?
if our client was a female, this case would be drastically different.
Rusk's lawyer says the video and 911 call make a clear case for self-defense.
I think it'll show that certain steps weren't taken that needed to be taken.
The attorney says those steps, like looking into Rusk's claims of unwanted sexual advances, could have prevented what Rusk's dad calls a tragedy, which will affect his son for the rest of his life.
He told people from the get-go that he was sexually assaulted. He said no, and he kept on. He said no, and he kept on. If I had a daughter in the same position, we wouldn't even be here. We wouldn't have an innocent person fighting for their freedom.
Williamsburg officers are investigating the shooting. They had no comment on this story. James City County Police also declined to comment. Calls to the prosecutor trying the case were unreturned. You can hear the complete 911 call on wavy.com. I'm Julie Millay, 10 on your side.
You can't always plan.
Man, I just had to bring out this story because I had to like figure out what the hell was going on. But man, yeah, usually dudes we pick up on stuff like that. Or somebody acting weird or whatever, and if we're not with that, we usually try to stay away from that. I don't know what really was going on in this situation right here, because if he was making complaints, he shouldn't have went out drinking with him. I'm just saying, I mean, come on, like we would tell women, you gotta, it's just like a woman, if she's been making complaints for a whole year about a guy making sexual advances at her, right? Nobody does anything about it, but then she goes out drinking with that same guy that she's been making complaints about. People be looking at her like, something ain't right. And I'm just saying, I'm not saying that dude is any way or anything like that. I'm just saying, yeah, I want to hear both sides of the story, because you're not going to go drink with somebody if you're not that way. All right, y'all. I just wanted to bring y'all this one right. Peace.